Hi, it's Susan Thomas from MEX-PRE. I'm here in Wellington, Florida, and so excited to have finally met Daniela Siberio. And we're here at Lusitano Masters. And so here she is, and I'll just let her introduce herself and tell us, what brought her to the Lusitanos and, kind of how she sees the market. So, hi, Daniela.
Hi, thank you so much.
Glad to meet you. Thank you for inviting me.
To meet you. No, I'm so glad that you reached out. I'm really, really flattered. So
thank you.
This is nice. This is super. So, you were asking me a little bit like how I got into the Lusitanos, and it's a funny story, kind of like how things happen in life. I graduated university, and my mother was taking a trip to Portugal. And she was going by herself, she was just going to go on a riding holiday. And of course I said, why go by yourself? I'll go with you.
Smart girl.
Take me on, this vacation with you. So off we go, to Portugal for the first time, both of us. And we have this week-long riding holiday. It's beautiful. You have a dressage lesson in the morning, and then you have, a gorgeous, hack out in the Portuguese countryside in the afternoon, and it's just, it's like paradise, right? And I fell in love with the horses. It's impossible not to. They are just so kind and sweet and special, like this very unique breed, where we stay.
I really feel that the Iberians in general, especially the Lusitanos, they really want to bond with you. Really, they're like, German Shepherds or
golden retrievers.
Yeah. They want a person, and they try so hard for you. I absolutely love them.
They do. So funny, I was just going to say, the place where we stayed, they're breeders as well. And we would go out into the field with the mares and the foals, and the mares and the foals would just come to you. They would just, 10, 20 mares with their 1-year-old, 2-year-old babies would just come and be with you, and it just felt like something that must not happen every day.
It's just a fairy tale.
Yeah, with any kind of horse. I've seen other breeds of horses, and they're a little bit more standoffish and oh, this is my space, and I don't need to be around you. But this breed just welcomes you, and they go to you. You don't have to kind of go to them. They're so willing to be there. So
and how many years ago was this?
This was in 2015.
So you went over there and you started riding the Lusitanos, and you just never looked back.
No, that was it. Yeah.
You just fell in love.
I fell in love. I bought a horse.
And you brought her home with you.
I left it there for a little while. She was a 3. So actually, my mare, the gray mare, Orchidia. I bought her when she was 3 years old. It was so. I said,
love
this is amazing. And I left her in training there for a year almost, and then I thought about going there myself and just kind of moving there and taking it from there. But when I came here and I visited Wellington for the first time, I said there needs to be more of a presence for Lusitanos in Wellington.
Well, you were really way ahead of everybody else.
It was a little bit of a gamble, because
it was a huge gamble.
It was a huge gamble
because at the time the Lusitano really did not have an excellent reputation, probably due to the poor quality that was generally available basically from Brazil here in Florida and in the United States. I don't know how you saw that.
I realized that primarily there weren't a lot of Lusitanos from Portugal. Portuguese breeders weren't thinking of the U.S. market in that moment. But obviously it's opened up so much since then, and I didn't know any breeders in Brazil. I didn't know the Brazilians, the lines that they like or anything like that. I kind of submerged myself more in the Portuguese breeding and side of it, which I felt was, really the roots of where the Lusitano comes from, is from Portugal. Yes. So I thought, where else should I go? I should go to the source, right?
So you've been here in Wellington then since
2016.
2016.
Yeah.
Exciting.
I know. It's crazy how time flies.
And so how do you see the market in the last, say, year or whatever? Because I see that it's just exploding.
I have to agree with you. Yeah, I think it's kind of we're on the cusp of this like really amazing, new era for the Iberian harness, and not just the Lusitano, but I think the PRE as well. Like is changing. It's not, they're also kind of starting to see that they want to breed for the sport and things like that. And so now breeders in Portugal are saying, I want to breed for the sport. I want, a Lusitano that's going to show and that's going to do Grand Prix and it's, going to be competitive. And so now you see them really like changing and innovating because
their movement is getting straighter, they're getting stronger behind.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
I started riding Spanish horses, Puro Raza Español, about 10 years ago. And kind of like you, I never looked back. Absolutely love them. And just had the opportunity to become involved with some Lusitanos and actually bought one myself, and I fell in love. They're so smart, they're so agile, they're so willing, they try so hard, and it's just I really am enjoying the breed. And I had a certain reservation, maybe perhaps because many of the Lusitanos in Mexico at least were born for bullfighting. So you can imagine they're really good on spins and maybe not quite the movement that we need for dressage. But the breeders, also in Mexico and especially in Portugal, have really been breeding for the dressage movement, and they're a horse that they give you every stride 110%, and they're so smart. So I'm really enjoying to get to know them.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yes. And so, so what else can you tell us more about the Lusitano, their character? How are they to train, perhaps, compared to warm bloods or Pre's? Or
I don't have very much experience with Pre's.
Okay.
So
you can have more warm bloods.
Yeah.
Okay.
And even then I was a jumper rider.
Okay.
I was riding warm bloods, so it was a little bit different. But in the transition to dressage, I kind of made that transition to the Lusitano as well. And for me, and I train now with a Danish rider named Migala Munter, and what I like is that we've done this approach where it's like a horse is a horse, and we're training Lusitanos how you train warm bloods.
Just a classical. Classical
Yeah.
way.
Just in the sense of they need to be over the back, they need to take the bit, they need to carry weight in the haunches. It's like it's sometimes. Well, when I first came here, everywhere I went, I heard, oh, but you need to ride these horses differently. But in a way, you don't, because you still want to have the correct training, like the correct basics. You don't want to just they're not trick ponies. It felt a little bit like people were saying like, oh, it'll just piaffe. Like, no, it should come back and carry weight and do this, and it doesn't just need to go up and down, which is they're such a smart horse, like you were saying. They're very smart, so you can teach them tricks. But I'm lucky in that I've found people that have helped me develop a training system where they're training to compete, like to be competitive, to have correct training, not just tricks. And so that's how I feel like we're going to change the narrative around that here, where it's like they're not trick ponies.
Yes.
They're
and I would love to, let's go and see your horses. And she has one mare, the mare that she got in Portugal, that will soon be ready for Prix St. George, and another one that she will be competing next weekend in I1. Yes, let's go and see them.